Hey, welcome to Follow the Action. I am John Layfield. I am proud to be one of your crew because this crew has developed the fastest growing show in the world today. We started this show about 6 months ago. We've been downloaded in over 60 different countries, over 2,000 cities, and all 50 states. You can find us on Apple or Spotify. Also find us on YouTube. Tons of exclusive content on our YouTube channel, also called Follow the Action. And now we are syndicated nationally on radio. So welcome to all of the radio listeners out there. Let's get started with the introductions. The reason this show has been so good is because we do not have guys who play experts on television. We have the legends and the giants of the betting industry that have moved lines and moved big money for decades. And there's none bigger than we start right off with fighting out of the city of brotherly love. He is the legend himself, the Philly Godfather, Mr. Steve Maltepes. We heard that this man was kind of like the Loch Ness Monster, a legendary mythology creature. We didn't know for sure if he existed. Then we found out he did. He is one of the giants of the industry that I'm talking about. He is a legend. He is the Philly Rooster and a radio icon and a terrific sports bettor. He is our pal. He is our friend. He is entertaining as hell. And anytime you say somebody's entertaining as hell, they got a lot to live up to. He can do it. He is Mr. Harry Mays out of Philadelphia.
Glad to be with you guys again.
Two guys who have changing the sports betting landscape. They've been called the future of sports betting. Mr. Matt Maltepes from the College Kids and our buddy, the 8-Ball. Philly Godfather, you ready to go, my friend?
Yeah, ready to fire, man. We're winding down on this NFL season. We're in that circuit contest. We're still, I think we're placed, we're in the 100th place out of like 3,500 contestants. So we're going to try to bring it home the last 3 weeks of the season.
The one person that is not mentioned is a very valuable part of this show as Mr. Dave Mason from Bet Online. Dave is going to give us where the sharp money's going, where the public's money going, and where the line movements have been. Also, we want to give a shout out to our friend Joey Odessa. Normally, we have a UFC portion on this show. We will have that special on Saturday if Joey feels like it. Like a lot of Americans, he has come down with COVID. He is not in the hospital. He's doing okay, but he's not feeling well at all and thought it best if he didn't do the show. So the best combat sports handicapper in the freaking world. That is Mr. Joey Odessa, also known as Joey Bagels. And let's get right started with Saturday Night Football. It is number 343 and number 344 on your sports betting stream. It is the Carolina Panthers at a 4-9 record, taking on the team that has clinched the NFC North, and that is the Green Bay Packers from the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. They are minus 8.5 favorites right now. Their record is 10-3. The over-under stands at 51.5 points. Mr. Dave Mason from Bet Online, where do you have the money going?
The money's on the Panthers. We currently have it plus, they're getting +9, minus 122. 75% of the cash is on the Panthers, and the bettors are on the under as well right now. Not a lot of action yet, but about 92% of the early money is on the under, currently 51.5. Nothing sharp.
Philly Godfather, do you have something on this game?
Yeah, I'm hoping this game gets to 10, and then I'll probably nibble on the dog here. Panthers seem to play everyone close this year, losing 7 games by 1 score or less. And if you look at the top tier teams they've played so far on the season, other than the Buccaneers, who have blown them out twice, I mean, they lost to the Saints by a field goal. I think they lost to the Chiefs by 2 points. And the main reason for that is that their quarterback doesn't throw, too many interceptions. I think he's got like 8 on the year. This team is actually ranked 1 spot higher than the Packers in the turnover differential. And if I'm not mistaken, Carolina is ranked 6th in the NFL. At a +5 spot. Combine that with the Packers defense that's ranked 17th in opponent yards per play, 16th in opponent yards per rush attempt, and 23rd in opponent yards per pass attempt. I think Matt Rule's squad can keep this game within that double-digit spread. I think they can cover the spread here.
Harry, did you have a feeling on this game?
Nah, this is a pass for me. I'm going to root for my man Matt Rule, who's a friend of mine, but he's up against it here with Green Bay. They're 9-4 against the number this season. And you got to figure that, some public money would come in on Saturday as you get closer to game time. And I agree with Godfather. If it does bump up to like 9.5, then you'd have to jump in and take Carolina for some small side. But other than that, this is a pass, and I'm going to root for my man, Matt Rule.
And just a note here, I'm giving the numbers as they were as of earlier today. Obviously, most, if not all, have changed, and Dave Mason from BetOnline will update that. Go to the other game on Saturday, and that is the Buffalo Bills, a 4:35 p.m. game. It's an earlier game, but it's one later on your sports betting screen, number 345, 346. The Buffalo Bills, who lead the AFC East by 2 games, are 10-3. They're the -6-point favorites, playing the Denver Broncos at 5-8. 49.5 is the over/under total. Dave Mason, BetOnline, where do you have the money?
Yeah, the spread is still 6, and the total right now bet online is 49. 50. The cash is pretty split on the spread. 54% of the cash is on the Bills. About 70% is on the over 49. Nothing too sharp here at bet online.
Philly Godfather?
I think everyone's going to be all over Buffalo here after that big win against the Steelers. And I mean, if the Broncos weren't so banged up on defense, I probably would be holding out, trying to grab a +7, on the dog here at home. But instead, I bet the game over. I went over 48. Both teams have a ton of weapons on offense, and on the defensive side, these teams have combined to give up right around an average of 51 points per game on the season. So at 48, I think this game goes way over. And last time I checked the weather, it looks to be fine. Right around 40 degrees, 5-mile-per-hour winds, clear skies. I think it's a great forecast for Josh Allen and Locke to light it up. Broncos running backs are a little banged up, but Fangio said they're going to play. So I think the over is the right way to go. Rooster, you got any opinion on this game?
Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of like the over a little bit at 48, especially. I think it'll probably creep up to around 50, but I like the favorite here. And you're going to notice I'm almost always on home dogs, but Buffalo right now is the class of the league. I put them right there with Kansas City. I mean, they are clicking on all cylinders. They're very healthy. Their quarterback's playing out of this world. And their defense is playing decent. I mean, this is a good team. I'm actually going to lay some 5.5 on this game, maybe some 6, because I have a feeling it's going to be 7 at game time anyway. And if I want to reduce, I'll just play a little middle there.
Yeah, and if you guys remember, it was the college kids, the 8-ball, and myself, we gave out the Buffalo Bills at the beginning of the season at 33-1 to win the whole thing. We gave out their season win totals to go over. We bet them to make the playoffs. We bet them to win the AFC East and to actually win the AFC Conference. So we're sitting in a good spot here with these futures, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Rooster, you also mentioned that you like some college football games, or especially one on Saturday night, the big one itself. What was that one you had?
Well, I love Florida this week. I mean, this line is just not the right line. If Florida wouldn't have lost last week, and what I consider a total look-ahead game for them, that all they were worried about was Alabama. That game was in the fog. They couldn't even see. It was just a disaster for Florida. And all they were thinking about was Alabama. I have a feeling this game would be around 14 if they would have beat LSU, which they should have done easily. And Florida's playing really well. I think Alabama's going to have their hands full here, and taking 17 points, I think this line's way off. It's 3 points off.
Harry, you're shaking your head. You agree with that?
Yeah, Pitts is going to play in this game. I mean, he is a matchup nightmare at the tight end position. He's actually from the Philadelphia area, played at Abington High School. He is going to be a phenomenal professional football player. He will play. He didn't play last week against LSU. They held him out because they wanted him to be, as healthy as he possibly could be for this Alabama game. So I tend to lean on that Gators side as well.
Go to the next NFL game, and that is a game on Sunday at 1:05 p.m., and it is an underperforming team, and I'm saying this as a team of Texan fan who wants our Houston Oilers back from the Tennessee Titans. Just give them back. Tennessee, come on. Give our damn team back. We had Earl Campbell. We had Bump Phillips. We had Love You Blue. Give our Oilers back because we don't want these guys. The Houston Texans are 4-9. It's 341, 342 on your sports betting screen. Playing the Indianapolis Colts, who are tied for the AFC South lead with the Tennessee Titans. The Colts are -7.5 favorites. They're 9-4 on the season. 51 points is the over/under. Dave Mason from BetOnline. Where do you have the money?
The money's on the favorite on the Colts -7. 69% of the cash is on the Colts. Under's getting played again. Again, not a lot of action. Majority of the action is yet to come in, obviously, since we're a few days away. 80% is on the under, currently 50.5.
Philly Godfather?
I mean, we got two teams headed in polar opposite directions, but I kind of like the dog here. I like the Texans plus the hook, plus the 7.5. I mean, the Colts have been on the road for the last 2 weeks. Now they're coming home after blowing out the Raiders by 17 points to play a division opponent. Public's going to be all over the Colts, like Dave said, especially since everyone watched the Texans get crushed by the Bears 36-7 last week. A couple key guys for the Colts are a little banged up this week. I know their corners banged up, Rhodes, their linebacker Leonard, and their left tackle Costanza. And if you guys remember the last time these two teams played each other, the Colts won by less than a touchdown. I think the score was, 26-20. And Houston actually had more total yards in that game and a better third down efficiency on offense. And the Texans were right at the goal line, and I think Deshaun Watson fumbled the ball, or else they would have won that game. So I like the dog to bark here. Houston's offense ranks 5 spots better in yards per play metric and yards per pass attempt. I think they got a great chance to upset the Colts here, actually win the game outright.
Matt, do you or 8-Ball have a view on this game?
I don't have any view on this game. We're looking at it. I'm looking at an Indy team. It's been solid throughout the year. It's a division game with Houston. Last time, as PGF said, they stood within 5 or 6 points. I think the dog has a shot here, but I'm not betting anything.
8-Ball?
I lean Houston in this game plus 7.5. Last time they played, I think Houston was at the 5-yard line. They fumbled the snap, and that was the game. They were moving the ball all game long. Indy's traveling all the way from Vegas back home, 2,000 miles. I think it's sort of a trap game where they look ahead to next week. I think they play Pittsburgh next week.
They do.
I think Houston's a move here, plus 7.5. Division game.
Harry, you like anything on this one?
I'm staying away from the side. The only way I'd bet the side in this game is if John Layfield's Houston Oilers did come back to play this game. And I would take Dan Pastorini and Earl Campbell and Bum Phillips with his big old belt buckle. Man, I used to love those teams. And I'm going to go under. These divisional games the second time around, when the teams are playing for the second time, tend to be a little bit lower scoring. So I would lean towards the under here in this game.
For the people that are listening on radio, you're missing some of the great viewing that we have going on right now. Rooster, the myth, the legend. You're drinking wine, aren't you?
Absolutely. If you make me film after 5 p.m., you're going to find a glass of wine in my hand.
I thought it wasn't possible that you got any higher in my estimation of being a legend. You went through the freaking roof.
John, I thought you were sending me wine. Steve said that was part of the deal. I keep looking outside. There's nothing here.
Steve said we couldn't afford the wine bill, so I'm just ignoring the text.
Don't worry, that wine in the box is coming over real soon. Don't even sweat it.
The next game, I'm probably going to skip because I don't doubt anybody will have a view on it because there's a lot of uncertainty about the quarterback situation right here. It is the Detroit Lions game, 3:47, 3:48, a 1:05 p.m. start game Sunday. They're 5-8, taking on the Tennessee Titans, who are tied with the aforementioned AFC South co-leaders, the Indianapolis Colts. Titans are -11. They're 9-4. The over-under stands at 51.5 points. There's a lot of uncertainty as to who's playing. Some of the online books didn't even have a number. Dave Mason, do you have any information on this?
Yeah, the numbers are exactly what you stated. 66% of the cash is on the Titans, -11. What is it? About 80% is on the under, 51.5. Not getting a ton of action, to tell you the truth, probably for the reasons you stated. So most people are just standing by.
That is Dave Mason, of course, from Bet Online. Any of you guys have a lean on this game or no because of the uncertainty?
Nothing.
No leans on the game, which is perfectly understandable, and no leans on probably this next team. I wish Joey Odessa were here because he would have to answer for this pathetic, abysmal New York Jets. They couldn't win either side of an intra-squad scrimmage, and there's the Philly Godfather with his Jets hat.
The last time the Jets were good, I think we landed on the moon, wasn't it?
We landed on the moon and hit the miracle Mets. There's something going on that year. It was the year that was just the opposite of 2020, where everything goes in the toilet. It's like everything, the Jets win, the Mets win. I always say the Mets are the Jets without helmets. I wish Joey was here to be insulted. The New York Jets are 0-13, taking on the Los Angeles Rams, who are tied with the NFC West lead with the Seattle Seahawks. Rams are 9-4. It is a huge favorite. The Rams are -17.5. 43.5 is the over-under on this. Dave Mason for Bet Online. Where do you have the money?
It's pretty split. 55% of the cash is actually on the Jets, which is not a big surprise because whenever the spreads get that high, the bettors start splitting that action. So under's getting bet again. 92% is on the under, 43.5. But again, most of that money's is going to come in the next few days. So those 92%, 83%, et cetera, are very, too early to really make something of it on these totals.
Philly Godfather?
I'm not betting it, but the only way I could bet it is probably look to bet the under. I mean, last week against Seattle, the Jets couldn't put up any points. And Seattle's pass defense thinks their opponent yards per play metric is one of the worst in the NFL. Now they're playing one of the best defenses. The Rams, I think they got the best yards per play differential in the NFL. So at 44, I don't know. I'm not touching this game, but if I had to bet this, I guess I would go under. I don't know. Harry, how do you like anything in this matchup?
Yeah, I don't know how the Jets are really going to score against this Rams defense. Their front is really, really good. They're 8-5 against the number on the season. I know these double-digit underdogs are still 11-8-1 against the number, but there's no way that I could put my hard-earned stimulus check money on anything that says New York Jets. There's no way. So I'd go with you. If I got to bet the game, I'll take the total and I'll go under because the Jets can't score.
There's house money and there's stimulus money.
That's right.
It's all money not taken for granted. Any of you other guys have a leaningless stimulus check game itself?
Well, I kind of like the dog here.
You like the Jets here for covering the spread?
I like the Jets. I mean, that's too many points. 17.5. Come on. That's just ridiculous. I agree with the under. Now, 44 is the key number in this neighborhood. There's a key number pretty much, as Dave, I'm sure, will tell you, in every neighborhood in the NFL, 37 being, the best number. And then 44 is actually tied for second. So every neighborhood, when you see a total, there's a key number involved. And I agree with Godfather here. I would go under 44 or 44.5. But you got to like the Jets. I mean, I think they can hang closer than 17.5 points. Now, they've cost me a lot of money this season, but I'm not done donating. I like the Jets.
You know what the problem is, Rooster? I don't think there's any key number that pertains to the New York Jets. Anytime they're playing, I think you got to throw those key numbers out the window. It don't matter how high that point spread is. They just stink.
I'm married to the numbers. I can't.
Next game is a team that doesn't stink. It's got the GOAT in it, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Game number 351, 352 on your sports betting screen, 1:05 p.m. on Sunday. Bucks are 8-5. They are 6-point favorites against the Atlanta Falcons, who have no idea how to cover an onside kick. They are 4-9 on the season. 49.5 points is the over/under. Dave Mason from Bet Online, where do you have the money?
On the Bucks, no surprise there. 73% of the actions on the Bucks, -6. Under's getting bet at about 79%. There's some sharp action on Bucks -5.
Godfather?
Yeah, Dave, where'd this number open up at? Like 1.5, 2 originally?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean at that opening, at that opening price, it's creeping up to 6.5 I see out there in the market. If it gets to 7, it's like begging you to take the Falcons here. But I've been burned so many times with this team. Got burned last week throughout the season. I mean, this Falcons team is on the do not bet list moving forward. And even at 7, I can't touch this game. Hey, Paul, you got an opinion on this matchup?
Yeah, I love the Bucks in this matchup, -5.5, -6. Falcons all year, they've been settling for field goals. It's a dumb game, all that speed on the Bucks side. I think they'll be able to put enough points up to cover the number.
Philly Godfather, you had a future bet on the Tampa Bay Bucks that we gave out on this show. What was that bet?
That's 50-1 on Tampa Bay. The Saints, I call it the playbook game. I swear to God, Jameis has given the Saints all the Tampa Bay's plays because both times they played the Saints, Tampa Bay's gotten crushed. Now, if they can come up with a new game plan in the playoffs, if they do end up playing the Saints, I think they can beat them. But if they keep doing the same things, it's going to be a tough ticket to cash, especially with the way the Rams are playing, the Saints are playing, and Green Bay. So even at 50-1, it's a great number. It's a great price. But right now, I don't know if we can cash that ticket.
Hey, Harry, Philly Godfather, I think, is intimating that an NFL team might actually get a player that was been cut to get somebody else's playbook. That doesn't happen.
That never happens.
In the NFL. does it?
No, not at all. I kind of like the over in this game. The last 8 games in this series are 7-1 to the over. Tampa Bay, as far as the side, they let bad teams hang around. I'm a little leery about taking them laying this many points on the road, but I do like the total over.
And Rooster, you mentioned that you had a game, and we're going to get this show up on Thursday afternoon late, right before the Thursday night game. You mentioned that you had a side that you liked, or a total that you liked in the Thursday night game. What was that?
I like the Chargers tonight. I think they're going to win this game outright. I mean, there's very little travel here for San Diego. They're an underrated team. You're getting 3 and a hook in with no home field advantage for the Raiders. And I would say these two teams on a neutral field are even. And I'm getting plus 3.5 points. I'm dabbling on the money line here, and I like the Chargers at least to cover.
Do you not think the hype, the story that's coming out that the Chargers have quit on the season, you don't think that's right?
I don't think it is. I think they're going to try to win for this coach. Raiders have 4 defensive starters on the COVID list. I don't know how you recover from that. That's 35% of your starting defense. And, I mean, the Chargers have some injuries too, but NFL teams, they try to win. I'm not a believer. I mean, when you look at the Jets, obviously, when you're in the hunt for, like, an Andrew Luck type quarterback, okay, fine. But when you're talking about a regular NFL team and these guys, they try to win. I like the Chargers here a lot.
Yeah, me and Rooster were going back and forth in this game because, like you said, 4 of their guys are out, but the Raiders have one of the worst defensive backfields in the NFL. So how much worse can they actually get with the backups in there? And the Chargers are missing 2 key components on their offensive side, 2 of their wide receivers. I think Keenan Allen's out. So I didn't touch the game, but Rooster feels so strongly about it that I'm not even going to touch it. It's probably the right side.
Next game up is a 353, 354 in your sports betting book. 1:05 p.m. Sunday game. It's the New England Patriots with Cam Newton at 6-7 playing the Miami Dolphins with an incredible defense at 8-5. Their Dolphins are 1.5 point favorites. 41.5 is the over/under. Dave Mason from BetOnline. Where do you have the money?
The money is on the Dolphins, actually. Most of the money, 84% of the cash, early cash is on the Dolphins. Once again, 90% of the money's yet to come in. So, take these numbers with a grain of salt. And under 41.5, 80% of the early cash is on the under.
Philly Godfather?
Yeah, I took some under early when that number first popped. Even though they're expecting some beautiful weather down in Miami, mainly due to the fact that, like you said, Miami's defense, they rank 2nd in the NFL in opponent points per game and 10th in opponent red zone scoring. And we gave them out at the beginning of the year. We said they had a great chance of making the playoffs. We gave out over 6 wins on their regular season win totals. And they've come through for us here. Their defensive backfield, I think they're 2nd in the NFL in interceptions, only behind Pittsburgh. I think they got like 16 on the year. So they're real gritty back there. Then you have the fact that Belichick, he's given rookie quarterbacks headaches throughout his career. I'm expecting a low-scoring game here. When it comes to the side, I think Miami gets to avenge their loss from the first week of the season. I think they lose 21-11. So it's down to -1. At -1, I kind of like the Dolphins here.
Harry, are you on the Tua train?
No, I'm not on the Tua train, but I do like Miami. They're 10-3 against the number this year. They've had an amazing year. Although I do think they're going to be the team left out of the AFC playoffs when it's all said and done, when Baltimore, officially moves in there. But they're having a great year. They play hard for this coach. Their defense is really good. That number, such a low number in an NFL game, I would have to grab under in this game.
And Rooster, 8-ball college kids, you guys have got something in this game?
I lean Miami for this game. They're one of the best man-to-man coverage teams in the league, and I don't think the Patriots receiver is going to be able to create any separation. So you're going to have Cam beat you, and he's shown all year he hasn't been able to beat anyone.
That's true.
True. Cam hasn't played good all year. Looking at this game, looking at Miami defense, that's been a main reason why they've been so good this year. And I think this defense is going to cause fits for Cam Newton. But as PGF said, Bill Belichick, he's awesome at scheming and going against these rookie quarterbacks. He's done an awesome job throughout his career. And that's the main reason why I like this under here. Under 41.5 is not bad.
Next game is game 355, 356. It is the Seattle Seahawks, who are tied with the aforementioned LA Rams in the lead in the NFC West. They are 9-4 on the year. They are -5 as your favorite, playing the Washington football team, who is leading the NFC East. Some say it's the NFC least. I've heard that joke before, but since I'm a Cowboy fan, I hope they all lose. The Washington football team is 6-7. They're 44.5 is the over/under. Dave Mason from BetOnline, where do you have the money?
They're on the Seahawks. Cash is on the Seahawks. 58% of the early money is on the Seahawks, currently -6, and 80% is on the over 44.5. Nothing too sharp here at BetOnline.
Philly Godfather?
Here's another team that we gave out futures on at the beginning of the season before everything popped on the Follow the Action podcast. We said go over 5 wins with the Redskins. We told everyone how they're going to be a lot better than most people think. Now we didn't expect them to compete for the NFC East, but they're right there. They're a tough team, and they've outperformed the market all year. I think they're 7-4-2 against the closing number, and I would have definitely been looking to back them here, considering how good their defense is. Man, they're 4th in opponent yards per play, 4th in opponent yards per pass attempt. I think they're 10th in opponent yards per rush attempt, and they probably have the 3rd or 4th best pass rush in football. I think they got like 40 sacks on the year, but I just can't invest on a team if Dwayne Haskins is your quarterback over Russell Wilson. So if he plays, it's a pass for me. And that's the way. I don't think Alex Smith is going to play here. And at 5.5 or 6, I mean, I don't think the number's high enough. I just don't think Washington, even though their defense is great, they've played great this year, I just don't think they can keep up with Seattle's offense if Dwayne Haskins is their quarterback.
Rooster, I'm right here in the middle of Washington football team territory, so I have to listen to this crap every single day. It's driving me absolutely nuts. Ken Harvey's a good friend of mine, but still, it's driving me nuts. Please tell me this team's going to lose.
I think Washington's got a shot here.
Oh!
Haskins?
Seattle can't stop anything. They have no defense. I've actually never seen anything like it in the NFL. Pete Carroll is a good coach, and I think he forgot there's a second side of the ball. They have 0 defense. And Washington, like Steve said, they have a good defense, and I think they're going to be able to put up points against this team. I'm a little afraid of the under because of that reason. And Seattle has been very underwhelming for me. Even when they win, they're not impressive. Russell Wilson's tremendous, let's face it, but that's about all they have right now. I don't think Washington will win it, and I'm going to sit back and wait. But if I can grab 7 on this game, I'm all over it.
Harry, you're an NFC East guy. What do you think about the Washington football team?
Yeah, I've been impressed with them in the last couple of weeks. They really seem to be coming together under Coach Revere. Their defense is one of the best in the league. Chase Young, I can't take my eyes off him when he's on the field. He's like a Lawrence Taylor type player to me. But this game's a pass. I can't put money behind Dwayne Haskins. And I really, I'm interested in watching it just to see Washington play because they're probably going to end up winning this awful division. But I'm passing on the game on both the total and the side.
College kids, A-ball, you want to go put money on Dwayne Haskins?
I actually like the under. I don't like the side here. I'm looking at Seattle. We have Russell Wilson going up against a great defense. It's been great all year. But when Washington really stepped up their play was when Alex Smith became the quarterback because he doesn't really turn over the ball. And with a great defense, you don't turn over the ball, you have a good shot at winning the game when you win the turnover battle. But the problem is Dwayne Haskins is quarterback here. And Dwayne Haskins, I don't trust him enough. I can't put my faith in him. I don't think he's going to do a good job on the offensive end. And I think this defense is going to play well enough to keep Seattle in check enough. And I think this game goes under 44 and a half.
8-ball?
I think Seattle wins the game, but I can definitely see Washington covering the 6. Their defense is playing great all year. They've been keeping them in games. It reminds me a little bit of the Seattle-New York Giants game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. And I think the Redskins cover if Dwayne Haskins doesn't turn up the ball.
Next game is the Bears. The Bears versus the Vikings. They're both 6-7. The Vikings are favored at -3, and the over-under stands at 47. It's a 1:05 p.m. start on Sunday. Dave Mason from BetOnline. Where do you have the money?
Yeah, well, the total just moved down to 46. The cash on this spread is split 50-50 Viking like you said, -3, and 76% of the cash is on the over. Once again, that's now 46.
Philly Godfather?
I don't have an opinion on the side or the total, but I think 8 Ball's got a move on this one.
Yeah, I love the Bears in this game. Last time these teams played, Nick Foles was the quarterback. The offense couldn't score any points. I think all they had that game was a kick return by Patterson. Vikings, if I'm not mistaken, they were laying 3 that game. So now they're home. They're laying 3. To me, the Bears are the right side. Trubisky's been playing good. 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last 3 games. They're actually averaging 30 points per game over their last 3. So it's a different team. And I think the Bears come into this game. It's basically a playoff game for both teams. I think the Bears come out and they win this game.
For the sake of time, we'll go to the next game. It is bet game number 359 and 360. It looks like a pretty rotten game on paper. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-12 playing the Baltimore Ravens, who are -13, who Lamar Jackson discovered he had legs again last week and destroyed a team with his legs. 8-5 they are. 47 is the over-under. Dave Mason from Bet Online, where do you have the money?
It's on the Jaguars. Believe it or not, 64% of the early money is on the Jaguars. That will come down, and 67% is on over 47.5.
Philly Godfather?
I'm staying away from the Jags. Lamar killed me against the Browns the other night. Man, I wish he would stayed in that locker room a little bit longer. But he cost us a 5-0 week in the circuit contest. But I think Rooster likes the side here. Rooster, which side do you like?
I love the Jags here, and especially the Jags first half. Dave, what do you have on this first half?
Let me see here. Let me click on it. Jags first half is +7, -108.
All right, I'm going to have to leverage my account here, Dave.
Bring it.
I'm taking 7 -108. I mean, Baltimore's coming off of that. I mean, that was a win. It's very emotional. Every time that happens, you can go back in history. They come in the first half of the next game, they are in a funk. They're in a total hangover. They can't believe what happened last week. They're still smelling themselves. I like and Jags. Hey, they've been competitive all year. This is crazy. This team is not a 1-11 team. I mean, they could have won 3 additional games easily, and now obviously they're in the lottery with the Jets. But I like the Jags first half here.
Rooster, when you say they, are you talking about specifically the Baltimore Ravens, or about teams that come off an emotional victory, have a hard time in the next first half? Or are you talking about the Baltimore Ravens specifically, historically?
All teams, college and pro. When you come off a crazy emotional victory, the first half of the next game, and usually the full game. I mean, I like them to cover the full game here, but first half is even more potent. But yeah, anytime you have a team, and look, trying to dig up these stats over years and years is very difficult, because what do you call an emotional win? It was kind of like at the beginning when we were studying the key numbers, trying to figure out what the closing line was and what, the data wasn't there. But these emotional teams, in my estimation, in my history of betting, is a tremendous advantage in the first half of the next game.
Harry, I hate to call it a trend because guys hate that term, but
Yeah.
do you like that, for lack of a better nomenclature, trend?
I do, especially, since it was a divisional game and it's on a short week. I totally agree with that. And Jackson, this is too many points. Jacksonville's also on a 5-0 ATS run against Baltimore, for what that is worth. So I would take the Jags and the 14, 15 points.
Let's talk about the team that they beat, and that is the Cleveland Browns, who are a -6 favorite over the New York Giants. Giants are 5-8 in that NFC East that we've talked about so much. Browns are 9-4. The over/under stands at 44 points. This is the 8:25 p.m. Sunday night game. Dave Mason from Bet Online, where do you have the money?
Cash is on the Browns, -6. 78% of the money is on the Browns, given 6. 83% is on under 44. Some sharp action on Cleveland as well at -4.
Philly Godfather?
I laid the opening price on Cleveland. I laid the 3. Giants got some issues at quarterback, some key components on defense. But if this line gets to 7, I'm probably going to come back and nibble a little bit on 7 and hope for a middle. I mean, laying 3 and taking 7, I'll do that every day of the week.
Rooster, Jason Garrett is probably going to be out. I played with Jason back in the World League of American Football. Back, I don't know if anybody remembers that except for maybe some of you older guys on this.
I remember.
Yep.
With Jason being out, does that make any difference to you whatsoever in this game?
I think it does a little bit. I mean, Jason, look, he got a bad rap in Dallas as the clapper, but he's got this offense kind of in a groove. I don't think it's a huge difference. I kind of like Philly Godfather's -3, which is nowhere to be seen anymore, and I wish I jumped on it as well. But this is a no bet for me.
Matt and Abel, I know that you guys have followed the Cleveland Browns. What is your viewpoint on this?
Don't have anything on this game, unfortunately. The big loss last week for Cleveland, coming off that, I think it was 45-42, actually 47-42 because of safety at the end. But it took a lot out of them. They fought, you know what I mean? The whole game, they fought through, and now they're going on the road to the New York Giants. It's not a game that I love here.
Hey, Ball?
No, I don't have nothing on this game, John.
Well, let's get to something that you will have. I'm sorry, go ahead, Rooster.
One thing I want to add, I mean, as you know, Freddie Kitchens will be calling the plays now,
Right.
With Garrett out, which
Advantage Cleveland.
I don't know what that means, but there's probably a revenge factor there. I don't know how much power he has to inflict revenge. He's not like Harry against the Philly radio hosts, but
well, let's talk about these Philly radio hosts, because this is going to be a very popular game with everybody on this except for me and Dave Mason. The Philadelphia Eagles are 4-8-1, taking on the Arizona Cardinals. The Cards are -6 favorites. Eagles are 4-8-1. 7-6 are the Cards. 49.5 is the over/under. Dave Mason from BetOnline. Where do you have the money?
Money split on the spread. 52% of the cash is on the Eagles, currently getting 7 points. The over/under is currently, what is it here, 49.5, and 73% of the cash is on the over.
Harry, I've heard a rumor you may be betting against your Eagles this week.
Yeah, I already
Tell
did.
me it's true.
I already did. I took Arizona plus the 6, and thankfully, very little of the country is going to get to see this game because Kansas City is playing New Orleans, and outside of the Arizona area and the Philadelphia area, nobody else is going to have to watch this game. Eagles secondary is severely banged up. Maddox is out. McLeod's done for the year. He's a big part of keeping everything together on the back end of their defense. Jack Driscoll also, who has been playing pretty well at right tackle, is out for this game. So you're going to have to deal with Matt Pryor, who stinks on ice. So I expect Hassan Reddick to keep up his sack streak. He set the franchise record last week with 5 in the game against the Giants. The Arizona Cardinals have been practice against Kyler Murray. Well, they know how to handle a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. And now defensive coordinators have about 5 or 6 quarters of tape on Jalen Hurts. So I expect much better defense against, him with those zone reads. I like the Cardinals here.
Philly Godfather, what the heck do you do with Carson Wentz? You're paying him a fortune.
You're going to give him a lot of money. But I don't think Jalen Hurts is the answer. Now, last week, you guys remember I gave out the Eagles on the money line. I was probably the only guy in the world who gave that bet out. And we were lucky to cash. But like Harry said, this team on defense, man, they're decimated with injuries on their backfield. And they've always had problems against running quarterbacks. So I expect the same to happen again. Arizona laying 6 at home. It seems kind of cheap to me against, an Eagles defense that lives and dies, like I said, with their defense, who's played great all year. Now they're all banged up. I don't know. I like Arizona. I agree with Harry.
Rooster, I know the Philly Rooster has something on this game.
I do, as always. I'm going to have to disagree with these guys. I hope this game gets up to 7. Otherwise, it's a no bet for me on the side. And 5 quarters of tape is not enough. This hurts. I've never seen a quicker quarterback. Now, I'm lying. Michael Vick. He reminds me of Michael Vick when he runs to the outside. And I don't think Arizona is ready for that. He was picking up 10, 11, 12-yard runs last week like it was nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. Wentz is still my guy. And I'm glad they got him out of there because they literally called me last week to play on the offensive line because they had nobody else. So get Wentz out of there. He's not as mobile as he used to be. I'm fine with that. Let's look at Hurts. Hopefully we can get some trade value for him because we are stuck with this guy. There's no cap situation that works. So Wentz is our guy next year, but I think they can cover +7 here, the Eagles. I mean, I guess -6. I don't know. That's marginal for me. I think that's the right line. I think it's going to creep up because everybody's thinking the Eagles secondary is so beat up, but I like the Eagles +7 here.
You're going to have to put some more money in your Bet Online account because I think I see a 7 at Bet Online. Is that right, Dave?
Well, +7 -130, so you got to pay a little bit, but it's there for you. It's there for you. It's going that way, bud.
Well, real quick, because I want to get to the Cowboys game because I want to go ahead and take whatever abuse is coming our way. The next game is the Kansas City Chiefs, and we only got just 3 or 4 minutes left in the show. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Saints, who have clinched playoffs berth. Chiefs have clinched the AFC West. The Chiefs are a favorite -3. 51.5 is the over/under. Dave Mason from Bet Online, where do you have the money?
The money is pretty split on the spread. 55% of the early cash is on the Chiefs -3. They're betting the over. Shocker there. 51.5. About 90% of the early cash is on the over. 51.5. And there's some sharp action on the Saints +3.5.
Philly Godfather?
I actually like the under. I'm going to wait and see how high this price goes. And then right before kickoff, I'm going to go under. I think Kansas City's defense is going to give Taysom Hill some problems here. And I don't see the Saints scoring a lot of points, man.
All right, let's get to the biggest game of the week, okay? Because before we don't have time, the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, Tom Landry, Tex Ram, Dallas Cowboys. Bob Lilly from Throckmorton, Texas. The Dallas Cowboys, 49, taking on the 49ers at -3. The favorites, they're at 5-8. 45 is the over/under. Dave Mason from Bet Online, where do you have the money?
70% of the cash is on the Niners -3. 83% of the cash is on the over, which is currently 45.
Okay, all you Philly guys, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Who you want to go first? Harry, you want to go first?
Call them the Cowgirls. Call them all the stuff you call them.
Dallas can't.
All you want.
Dallas
We call them
can't.
a lot worse than the Cowgirls.
I mean, you put me, Rooster, and PGF in the backfield, and we'd run for 200 yards against the Dallas Cowboys. San Francisco loves to run the football. I can't bet Dallas here. They're 3-10 against the number all year. Like I said, they can't stop any ground game. I'd have to take it. If I take the game, I'm taking the Niners, and I'll lay the 3 on the road.
Rooster, you like
What do you
that?
think?
I mean, the Cowgirls are so bad. I have never seen a team this bad. I'm telling you, their record does not reflect how bad they are. It's really embarrassing. And when Dalton came in, I actually thought it might have been an improvement, but they cannot get out of their own way. I don't like the side here, though, because I think that's the right number, but I do like the under a little bit because I don't think they're going to score at all.
Philly Godfather. Go ahead.
I mean, listen, John, the 49ers got an excuse. It's called the Super Bowl hangover. I mean, the Cowboys, to me, just seem like they're cursed. They just stink for no reason. I mean, who would have thought these two teams would have, 9 combined wins on the season? And I think they've only covered like 34% of their games this year, San Fran and Dallas combined. But the line seems a little fishy to me. I mean, the odds makers popped this 49ers team, 2.5, and now it's up to 3. I hate to say it. I kind of like the Cowboys on the money line, +140. I like them +3.5 if it gets there. Dallas will get some key players back on defense. But if they don't cover the spread and if they lose this game, you're going to hear it from me next week, John.
We have a Super Bowl hangover, too, from 96.
From 40 years ago.
A quarter of a
John,
century ago was the last time we had a good team.
How is Jerry Jones's jet? Is it nice or what? Apparently you're on there every other week.
I know, 8-Ball, you got like a teaser to give out for everybody? A bonus teaser?
Real quick, 8-Ball.
Yeah, we like the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers fight for the 1 seed at home. Aaron Rodgers. I think they put away the Panthers, and the Bears getting 10.5 on a teaser. I think they cover that.
And real quick, guys, we got one game left. So if you just give me, if you have a bet on the side or the total, that is the Steelers versus the Bengals. The Steelers are Clemson AFC North on Monday night. Does anybody have a bet or a side on this that'll cover the entire NFL slate?
Under 41, I like.
Harry?
I got nothing on this game.
Philly Godfather?
Zippo, nothing at all.
Zippo on the Steelers and the woeful Bengals. Well, this is follow the action. You got the very best in the world. Again, our guys don't play bettors on television. Our guys are the legends and the giants who have moved lines and moved big money for decades. It's what they do. And this is Follow the Action. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, also called Follow the Action, all types of exclusive content. Have a great day. Enjoy your NFL Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and go Cowboys.
Yeah.